There we go. We're up and running. Yeah, that's perfect. We're up and running. We're live on YouTube. Let's go, Julian.
All
Everyone,
right.
welcome back to Friday Night Counter Attack. We're doing a live reaction today of the round of 16 draw, or the second round of 16 draw that we've experienced today. So it was quite a mismanaged occasion earlier in the day, but we've actually got the final results of who everyone's playing in the round of 16. And I've got back Julian from Calcio with Julian. Our previous collab in the Champions League was quite successful, so I thought let's just do it again and let's do it live again, which worked really well. Julian, how are you? How are you doing? And let's get your first impressions of Inter Milan versus Liverpool, because that's your team, right?
Yeah. I was a bit shocked, especially because the first job we drew Ajax. I was a bit pleased. I was pretty pleased with that result, considering all the great teams Inter could have drawn within the round of 16, and all of a sudden to see us facing Liverpool now, I'm a bit shocked. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting tie. A lot of people think Liverpool is going to blow Inter out of the water, but I still think Liverpool will win, but I don't think it's going to necessarily be as easy as many people think. Like right now, Inter Milan. Right now, I think that the best coached team in the Serie A, like Inzaghi, seems to be getting the best out of each and every single player on that starting 11. And I think it's gonna be a tough defensive unit for AC Milan to break. Liverpool to break down, compared to AC Milan in the group. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be an interesting fixture to see.
See how it goes. I can't wait to see how that goes as well, because everyone in England is thinking, oh yeah, Liverpool, they're the favourites for the Champions League, maybe Man City, maybe PSG. But personally, for me, thinking Chelsea or Liverpool will be the ideal teams with the experience, with the quality of winning in
Right.
recent years as well. So it's going to be good to see how Simone Inzaghi actually sets up against this Liverpool side, this free-flowing attacking Liverpool side with Mohamed Salah, one of the best players in world football currently at the moment. And
Of
again, the
course.
draw is going to be happening in February, March time as well. So it's going to be fun to see how that all goes as well. But yeah, I reckon Inter Milan, it'll be a struggle for them. It will definitely be a struggle for them because once you're against one of the best teams in Europe, there's no point in me lying, even
Of
me being a Man
course.
United
Yeah.
fan. They're very good and they can blow anyone out the water as well. And I believe that Liverpool being the favourites, I forgot and I couldn't care less who they got before. I think they got Salzburg before, but now they've got Inter Milan and they're up for a top test in Milan, especially with the first game being in the San Siro.
Right. That's San Siro, the first game. Exactly. Yeah. It's gonna be a difficult challenge for sure for both sides, but I still think Liverpool are the favorite to win this one. They're the favorites to win this one for sure. I mean, you have Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane, Jota, who's been in fantastic form recently. Even in the midfield, Thiago Alcantara, who seems to be finding his rhythm lately in the past couple of games. So it's going to be very interesting to see.
Yeah, especially in the Champions League, Thiago's been playing very
Yeah,
well, which has been
of
good to
course.
see. But what can Inter Milan kind of fight back with against Liverpool? Who are your main attacking threats? You know, I'm a big fan of Nicolo Barella and Lautaro Martinez, but who else is in that team that you think they could actually hurt Liverpool, getting behind their lines and scoring a couple goals?
I definitely think Hakan Çalhanoğlu could do something special. I mean, right now he's on a streak. He just won the Serie A Player of the Month, and
Okay.
he scored like it's 5 games in a row now, and he managed to get a goal and an assist in every single game. So he seems to be finding his rhythm under Inzaghi's system. Even defensively, like he's been remarkable. With previously with AC Milan, he was more of a 10, so like you don't see him run back as much. But now with Inzaghi, he's playing a bit more of a defensive role as well. So it's nice seeing him come back and track back in order to defend Inter Milan's box. So it's pretty impressive. Obviously, I mean, the main man, Lautaro Martinez and Eden Dzeko are going to be a force to reckon with. Eden Dzeko, familiar with this Liverpool side, playing with against Liverpool in the Premier League throughout his years at Manchester City. So it's going to be definitely interesting to see how he managed it all, of course.
Yeah, Edin Dzeko against his former teammate Allison as well in goal. So that's going to be a fun
Yeah,
little throwback. Both playing at Roma once upon a time as well. So
yeah, they played Roma correct together, right, right.
it's going to be fun to see how they do. But yeah, I think Liverpool will be one of the favourites, and I think they'll start off by winning against this Inter Milan side as well. Right, next game we're going to talk about is RB Salzburg versus Bayern Munich. So first of all, Bayern Munich, who I also said would be big favourites in the Champions League going forward, they didn't have the best of starts in the Bundesliga, but they were emphatic in the group stages. And RB Salzburg, for me, were one of the surprise hits in the Champions League, and fair play to them. Adeyemi was a surprise hit for me. I thought he's a fantastic player to watch coming through. But how do you see this Tiger and Julian? Do you reckon it'll be a walkover for Bayern, or have Salzburg got something in the back that they can just take out and just take out Bayern Munich in this round of 16?
Well, like considering the form in the group stage, like I don't think it's entirely possible for Salzburg to not pull an upset, but I still think like Bayern Munich are just unstoppable right now. They went 6-0 in the Champions League group stage, and they seem to be finding the rhythm in the Bundesliga. They distanced themselves pretty well in that first place spot. So I still think Bayern Munich gonna win this one. I don't see Salzburg finding a way to turn it around. I mean, although I think it is possible. Like we've seen them like play pretty well in the group stage. Like I don't think it's entirely impossible, but I just don't see it happening, in my opinion.
I would agree with you on that as well. And someone like Hakan Çalhanoğlu, Jamal Musiala from Bayern Munich.
Yeah, Jamal Musiala, he's been brilliant as well. Yeah.
He's also kind of found a new lease of life for playing a bit deeper in midfield as well. And last season, like you said, with Çalhanoğlu, mainly as a number 10, playing deeper in this midfield for Inter Milan. Same for Musiala in this Bayern Munich side, getting in the team, and especially with Kimmich out into the new year, he's done a pretty good job in that holding role or in that number 8 role as well. And that'll be another weapon in Bayern Munich's arsenal going forward as well. And RB Salzburg, they've been a fun team to watch in this tournament, but I reckon they'll give it a good go. But it's Bayern Munich's to win. And I don't think Bayern Munich will get anything less than a semi-final in this Champions League coming up.
Yeah, of course.
Now we're going on to Sporting Lisbon, champions of Portugal, versus Manchester City, champions of England, where Manchester City just always get easier draws possible.
Yeah.
Who did they get last time? Villarreal, and then they have to do it again. Then they got Sporting Lisbon.
Yeah, they got Villarreal the first draw.
All I can say is this is probably a more difficult game on paper for Man City than it was for with them against Villarreal, because Manchester City, they barely got out of third gear in this tournament so far. I mean, they really didn't have a real good go, I thought, against PSG away when they lost 2-0.
Right, exactly.
I thought they could have given more in that game, but they clearly just didn't have it. And they qualified. They got through top of the group as they did already. But Sporting Lisbon, they've been a surprise hit this season because they were in that group with Besiktas, Dortmund, Ajax, and they were the ones that qualified as well. So it was a team that everyone who finished top kind of wanted to see Sporting Lisbon play. But they've had a good couple of young players coming through. Someone like Paulinho, who's around 26, Nunes in the midfield. Pedro Goncalves has been fantastic to watch as well. It could be a Sporting Lisbon upset, but I really think it's going to be a Manchester City win. It should be a routine win for them, especially with the return leg being in the Etihad Stadium. How do you see it going, Julian? Sporting or Man City?
No, like you said, I don't see Manchester City losing this one. I mean, if you look at the players, like even despite all the injuries, Guardiola seems to be getting the best out of his players. Like whenever a substitute steps up to fulfill the shoes of the starting 11, they always perform very well. And right now, like that whole City team is like a well-oiled machine. Yeah, Bernardo Silva, who in my opinion is probably arguably the best Premier League player right now. He's just been so brilliant for that Manchester City side, constantly scoring goals, and especially that Manchester City fixture versus PSG. He was just remarkable. He played such a significant role in that fixture. So yeah, I just don't see. Although this, of course, Sporting Lisbon could pull an upset. Like it's not entirely possible. Like they have some players that could definitely pose a threat. Like Gonçalves has been absolutely brilliant in that group, especially with the Borussia Dortmund game. I believe he scored a brace or even a hat trick, if I'm not mistaken. He scored a hat trick. He scored a hat trick against Borussia Dortmund in order to qualify to the next round. So you can clearly see that although it's a young team, they're not afraid. They're ruthless, and they're able to rather than despite the lack of experience, they're not afraid to step up in those big games and are ready to attempt to pull any upset. But I still think it's going to be a Manchester City win. They've been brilliant in the Premier League, and they've managed to, despite the rough start to the Champions League this season, they managed to turn it around, especially after that huge win against PSG to top the group. So I definitely see it going at Manchester City.
Yeah, I really think that's going to be Manchester City personally versus probably Bayern Munich maybe in the Champions League.
That'd be a cool one, yeah.
That'd be a cool, like one side Man City versus Bayern Munich, and then like Liverpool versus Chelsea on the other side. That's how I
Yeah,
personally see it. But
yeah, that'd be a
yeah.
fun.
Speaking of Chelsea, Chelsea versus Lille, they got drawn to Lille twice. So this was crazy for me because in the first draw they got Lille first, and then they got Lille away. So
Right, right,
it's the Eden Hazard derby right about now as well. So he's not even going to be playing, but it's just the team that Eden Hazard,
right. Two former teams of his, yeah, yeah.
two former teams of his. But I would have backed Lille to have done something special if they had their manager from last season. I forgot his name. Was it
Yeah. The manager of the last season that they won the title with. Yes, yes.
was it Yardim? Was it Yardim is the manager? I forgot his name.
I believe. I'm not sure.
Never mind. I'll find it somewhere. But yeah, what are your first thoughts on Chelsea versus Lille? And do you reckon it could be an upset for Lille to actually win?
Personally, I don't really think so. Although like Liv has some pretty strong attacking players. You got Jonathan David, Timothy Weah. Although they have like you clearly see that they could pose a threat offensively, I don't think they're gonna be able to contain Chelsea. I mean, Chelsea has been remarkable, especially defensively. They've been brilliant with Thiago Silva. Despite his age, he's really stepping up and leading that back line, and Antonio Rudiger as well. And especially like that 3-4-3 system is just brilliant. The way like Reece James has been playing lately, like as well along the flanks, it's just been absolutely astonishing. So I don't think they're going to be able to contain that Chelsea side of Tuchel.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a walkover for Chelsea. As much as I
Right.
want to see Lille do really well in this Champions League with their young players like Angel Gomez, Jonathan David, like you said, Weah, obviously the experience of Burak Yilmaz, the right back Chelik's been very good this season
Yeah.
in the defense as well. But realistically speaking, like you said, I think Chelsea being the holders of the Champions League so far, having a really good group stage minus that Juventus defeat and the draw in St. Petersburg, I think Chelsea
Yeah.
have it within them to get to again a semi-final, maybe a final again, because I think they're looking ridiculously strong in their players. Even if some of them aren't performing, given a 6 out of 10 or a 5 out of 10, you'll have a couple of other players putting in 9 out of 10 or 8 out of 10 performances,
Right.
helping them win multiple games in the Premier League or the Champions League as well. So yeah, I think it's going to be an easy Chelsea win against this Lille side, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think this one will be quite good on the eye, personally. Benfica versus Ajax. I think this will be a very good game to watch as a neutral because Ajax obviously winning all of their games in the group stages
Right.
as well. Sebastian Haller on fire, the top scorer of the Champions League so far at the moment, against the Benfica side who spoiled the odds really of having an expected Barcelona team qualifying second in the group when Benfica took their place. In a way, Barcelona are just they could have been there against Ajax, but they didn't. And Benfica are in their place with the likes of Darwin Núñez. You got Alejandro Grimaldo. You got Pizzi, who's also a fantastic, tricky player to watch out for. But how do you see this game going? Do you reckon it will be tougher than expected, or do you reckon Ajax will have what it takes to beat this Benfica side, especially playing away first in the Champions League?
Well, it's definitely going to be a tough Champions League. It's definitely going to be a tough fixture for Ajax. Despite the difficult group, like it definitely won't be easy. I feel like they're both pretty even, and they both like complement each other pretty well. Like Benfica is a bit strong on the defensive side with Otamendi and not Alderweireld. What's his name?
Vertonghen.
Vertonghen, yes, Vertonghen leading the back line. So for sure, like it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But I still think Ajax is going to win. I think, in my opinion, Ajax is probably like the dark horses of this tournament. Like, despite being the underdogs, I definitely think they have what it takes to pull huge upsets in this tournament against the elite clubs of this year's Champions League. Like you said, Sebastian Haller has been absolutely brilliant, and I believe it's only his first like 6 appearances, and he's already the top goal scorer of the Champions League. So it's absolutely brilliant to see that. And Tadic too has been remarkable throughout this entire group stage, and they definitely have like a lot of young players and attacking players who are very creative and can pose a threat. Despite it being a pretty evenly matched game, I clearly see Ajax getting the edge. Especially they have a lot more experience compared to Benfica in these later stages. I believe it's like several years in a row now that they've made it pretty far in the Champions League. So I'm going to go with Ajax.
I'll go with Ajax as well because, like you said, Ajax, they've got Erik ten Hag as their manager who is literally looking for an audition for Manchester United or a bigger club in the future as well. So one of our favourites for the job. So it's going to be fun to see how Erik ten Hag does over the January period to see if he can actually keep some of his players. If some of his players are being sought after by bigger European giants,
Right.
the likes of Anthony or Sebastian Haller, like you said, who's only just joined the club. David Klaassen as well. You can go Alvarez in midfield. He's a decent player as well. The Mexican centre defensive midfielder. But yeah, it's going to be good to see how this Ajax side do. I think quarterfinals will probably be it. Semi-finals would be an overachievement, which would be very
It'll
good
be
to
for
see.
sure. Yeah, I agree.
And I think Edwin van der Sar summed it up best. It's like we're competing against sides who get hundreds of millions of pounds pumped into their team every year. And we're only struggling, not struggling, but we've only got like 20 million or 30 million every year from like TV revenue and Champions League revenue.
Right, for sure.
Going to be good to see how that goes.
Yeah.
Speaking of the man behind me on the recording, Cristiano Ronaldo in his Juventus shirt, we're going to be talking about Villarreal versus Juventus. So this one, I think, maybe a bit. I think Villarreal could do something in this game. You know, Julian. I reckon if any Villarreal fans was out there thinking, who from the top teams would we want to face? Because they couldn't face Man United already because of the Champions League,
right?
The same draw. Juventus would have been up there. They wouldn't have wanted to face Liverpool or Ajax or Man City or Lille, maybe Lille. But I think Juventus is something that Villarreal would have taken. They would have taken Villarreal versus Juventus. How do you see this game going, Julian? Do you reckon Juventus are still kind of strong under Allegri, or do you reckon Villarreal could actually surprise them with Unai Emery? Obviously, the holders of the Europa League currently as well. How do you see it going?
Right, no, I couldn't agree with you less. I couldn't agree with you anymore. Of course, out of all the top clubs, I definitely think Villarreal are happy with this result. Juventus are clearly struggling in the Serie A this season. Right now, they're not even in a spot in the Champions League. They're below it. I believe they're like 6th or 7th right now. So a little bit on a landslide right now. Totally like lack consistency in their style of play. I definitely think Villarreal could pull an upset here for sure. They're pretty strong defensive side. So I think they could definitely hold back Juventus from scoring some goals with Pau Torres, Mario Gaspar. And yeah, so I definitely think like, it's going to be very interesting to see this result playing out. Unless, I mean, I'm not sure if Chiesa is going to be back from injury by the time this fixture takes place. Hopefully he will be to help Juventus, help push Juventus through to a possible quarterfinal appearance. But it's going to be definitely a very interesting game tactically, I find. Like, especially Villarreal, like they don't really have much of a threat offensively, but I think defensively they could possibly push. They could possibly cause a threat, and perhaps it's going to be one of those games where they're going to defend and then counterattack and break through and score. So it's going to be very interesting tactically to see how this plays out.
Yeah, if we know anything about Unai Emery and his time at Villarreal, we know that he loves to sit back, play compact, and break on the counter.
Exactly.
Or play for extra time or play for penalties because he knows that's how it's going to benefit Villarreal. So that could be something, especially with the lack of away goals in this season tournament in the knockout stages. So he could easily make it a 2-2 or a 3-3, where inevitably it could go to penalties and he could rely on his goalkeeper and his penalty takers to take Villarreal out of trouble and into the next round as well, which could potentially happen for Villarreal this time around. But I think overall, no, you know what? I'm going to stick to what I said already. I think Villarreal could shock Europe and they could beat Juventus. I think that's the wild card I'm going for in this kind of round of the draw so far as well, which will be pretty good, which will be okay. We've got 2 left. I think we're going to finish with the Man United one. So we'll talk about PSG versus Real Madrid. This has been an exciting draw for the neutral because Real Madrid versus PSG, Sergio Ramos going home, Kylian Mbappe may be facing against his next club in the Champions League. He may have the opportunity to knock them out. And of course, Lionel Messi back at the Bernabeu. Julian, talk to me. How are you looking forward to this game and who will win?
Well, I'm super excited. This is insane. This is insane. I think as neutrals, like this is pretty much, you can't ask for any more to this. Like 2 world-class starting 11s facing off, especially like with all the, pretty much like all the familiar faces facing each other, and like how it's, like there's just so much excitement surrounding this one before kickoff. It's gonna be super exciting. Oh my gosh, I don't know how this is gonna go. this is how this is going to turn out. They're both very evenly matched. Right now, like Real Madrid are tearing it apart in the La Liga. Vinicius Junior and Benzema are just constantly combining and finding goals together. Messi seems to be finding his rhythm, supplying a beautiful assist to Kylian Mbappe, who's been a talisman this season. He's been absolutely remarkable in the Champions League and the Liga for PSG. I think though Real Madrid is going to win this one. I think they have the more balanced out squad, especially in the midfield with Toni Kroos and Modric, and they're also a lot more experienced compared to PSG. Like I just think because of that, it's going to give them the upper edge in this huge tie.
I'm not sure I agree with you. I want to agree with you. Obviously, wearing a Real Madrid shirt, I was at university today in my Real Madrid shirt, and I'm a big fan of Real Madrid's midfield. Modric, Kroos, Casemiro, fantastic players to watch as well. It's like I said, I want to agree with you, but I don't think I do. I think with PSG at the moment, with Pochettino and with a January transfer window coming up, they could look to strengthen their midfield a bit more as well. Wijnaldum may already be on his way out, and they could look to replace Wijnaldum with someone pretty special in that midfield as well. But realistically speaking, Messi, Mbappe, and Neymar, like I said previously on one of our podcasts, it's not good that they don't track back or they don't defend the role like we saw against Manchester
City,
in their away game. If they're walking behind and you've got the likes of Ferland Mendy or Marcelo or Carvajal or Vasquez attacking both sides and Casemiro pushing further up the pitch as well, their defense are going to have a horrid 180 minutes in these home legs and away legs against.
Yeah, it's going to be a disaster if that's the case.
But unless it's like one of the games like against Club Brugge in match day 6 where Di Maria was in the team and Messi and Mbappe were allowed to play free and Di Maria would be another man coming back to defend and help out, that benefited PSG a lot more and it worked more to Pochettino's system as well. So we're going to have to see what type of PSG turn up. I think it's the PSG that's going to turn up on this big occasion and look to defeat this Real Madrid side. And Carlo Ancelotti has done a fantastic job in this season with Real Madrid, clear of Barcelona and Atletico Madrid right now in the league, La Liga, top of their group stages, beating Inter Milan as well. And obviously they lost to Sheriff once upon a time as well. So we're going to see how they do. I think PSG will win, but it's one of those that I don't really care who wins because, like yourself, Julian, we just want an entertaining game. We want
this is definitely going to be an entertaining game for sure.
If Messi turns up at the new camp, no, the Bernabeu, sorry,
the Bernabeu,
and is like coming in for one of those little just one-touch finishes at the edge of the box, I'll be happy. That'll be good. But that's how it's going to be. And the final game that we're going to be talking about, obviously, it's Friday Night Counter-Attack, so we're going to be talking about Man United last, so I can talk as much as I want about Atletico Madrid and Manchester United. So, Julian, we started with Inter Milan versus Liverpool, probably one of the strongest English teams that we have, versus Atletico Madrid versus Man United, probably the weakest English side that's in the competition at the moment. But again, let's hear your first thoughts on Atletico Madrid versus Manchester United, and then I'll say everything I need to say because I've got so much to say about this. But go ahead.
No, for sure. I think this is another very exciting fixture, of course. Two very evenly matched teams again. And it's going to be very exciting. Of course, you got Cristiano Ronaldo playing against a familiar side that he's constantly faced off against. And a very huge fixture. When we back when he was at Real Madrid, it's just like the Madrid derby. So it's a pretty huge fixture for him. And it's going to be interesting to see how he turns up against Atletico Madrid. He has a very impressive record against Atletico Madrid. His scoring record versus Atletico Madrid has been amazing, and he's always managed to eliminate every time he's played against Atletico, he always managed to shut them down in the Champions League and send them home. So it's going to be interesting for sure. Atletico Madrid is struggling at the moment after that 2-0 victory against Real Madrid this past weekend. They don't seem to be at their very best. I feel like they're underperforming compared to the roster they have on paper, and I think Manchester United's gonna win this one, especially with Ragnick lately. Like I really love what Ragnick has been doing. Like that game where his first game versus Crystal Palace, I believe. Like it wasn't although like Crystal Palace wasn't the best opposition, that was probably one of the best Manchester United games I've seen in a very long time. The way they were pressing and they were so creative on the ball. Like I really love like what he's doing to that team. Like the way he's bringing structure to that club. Like the way that the club, you can see the club is more structured and organized in their system of play, and especially like seeing that occur in such a short amount of time, like the improvement, like the tremendous improvement we've seen in such a short amount of time. I could definitely see Manchester United. I'm actually like honestly very excited to see how Manchester United will look as the season keeps progressing. So it's going to be a very exciting fixture, and I think definitely, I think Manchester United are going to edge Atletico Madrid on this one. I think the main man, Cristiano Ronaldo, is going to shine, and he's going to do fantastic for the club.
I mean, the main man, Cristiano Ronaldo, the man behind me, famous for scoring that hat trick for Juventus. Probably his best moment in the Juventus shirt, where Atletico Madrid were 2-0 up in the home leg, and the media, the fans, the manager, they were all like, "Oh yeah, it's done. The tie is over. You can't win 3-0 against this Atletico Madrid side." And guess again, Cristiano Ronaldo just turned up and he was like,
"Yeah, I've got
a hat trick." He silenced the Atletico Madrid fans, and it was one of the most iconic moments in Juventus's Champions League history.
Yeah, for
as
sure.
well as the last decade in the Champions League history as well. But yeah, this is going to be a brilliant game for Manchester United. It's probably a game that I wanted the least because I was looking at the PSG one and my first thoughts were, at least we didn't get Atletico Madrid. Diego Simeone, the master of the dark arts. He loves wasting time. He loves going for those 1-0 scrappy counter-attacking wins over two legs as well. He's got Luis Suarez, Antoine Griezmann, João Felix, Thomas Lemar. He's got an amazing array of attack. It's just the fact that can Manchester United stop this attack? Can they stop the likes of Trippier and Hermoso and Lodi on the wings when they're coming through? Actually stopping the supply at source, really, because Atletico Madrid scraped through to the knockout stages in the final group stage game against FC Porto as well. So that could have been Porto or AC Milan going through, which we could have faced as well. But realistically speaking, Manchester United should really win this game. I mean, if I remember correctly, well, first of all, we're playing away in the first leg, but we don't have a good record against Spanish sides. I remember going to a Man United game where we lost to Sevilla. Jose Mourinho was our manager, and we lost 2-1 on aggregate. It's 0-0 in the first leg. But we haven't faced Atletico Madrid in such a long time. They've won the Europa League 3 times in the last 12 years, I think 2010, 2012, 2018 as well.
Right, yeah.
They've got the European pedigree right there as well. It's just we have missed the Champions League in our side, so it has to be different. It has to be different. He scored 25 goals against Atletico Madrid. Again, he won against them twice in 2 different Champions League finals. I think you beat them once in a semi-final as well, which was insane in the Real Madrid days as well.
Right.
So it's just the fact that Cristiano Ronaldo knows how to beat this Atletico Madrid side and he knows how to actually score the goals against this defense. And David De Gea, again, a former Atletico Madrid player for Manchester United, is going to be going home as well for the first time since his move to the club as well. So that's going to be a big game and an emotional experience for him as well. But it's just the fact that I'm not sure how Ralf Rangnick can counter this Diego Simeone side. He's got a few months to decide how it's going to happen, so it's going to be good to see what it's like as well. They're not doing the best in the league. I think they're around 4th or 5th at the moment. And they lost the Madrid derby at this time of speaking last weekend as well. So that'll be quite good. But I think with this Manchester United side, with people like Sancho, people like Rashford, Greenwood, they will be the key. Because if you want someone to have one shot and one chance, it's Cristiano Ronaldo. It's more about creating from the wings and getting past this low block defense that Atletico Madrid love to face as well.
Yeah, they're going to play low block without a doubt, especially with Diego Simeone. He's going to try to drag it out, like you said, for sure.
Exactly. He'll do that at home. He'll do that away. He couldn't care less where he does that. And I think it's more the likes of our wingers and our creative players, Bruno Fernandes as well, Paul Pogba if he's back fit by then as well, to see how we can actually feed Cristiano Ronaldo or Edison Cavani if he's in the team as well, to see how we can actually finish off and actually win against the Atletico Madrid side. we're going to win. I believe we're going to win. Again, we're back in February and March, so anything can change through there as well.
For
We'll
sure.
get some January signings in, but it's just the fact of how can we win. I don't think we'll go to penalties or extra time. I think we can win in the 120 minutes, but it's going to be a very, very, what's the term? You don't watch cricket, Julian, but it's kind of like a test match. There's going to be an intense drive of so much time wasting, so much antics from Simeone on the touchline. Probably going to get sent off as well. There's going to be so much stress in those two games for Manchester United and Atletico.
That's it. They just have to be able mentally. Manchester just have to be able to dig deep and like remain composed. I think too, especially because like I'm sure like especially knowing Cristiano Ronaldo, like after a while of this constantly like seeing Atletico Madrid playing this low block, like it's easy to get angry, it's easy to get frustrated that's not going their way, but they just have to remain composed and just trust within themselves that they're capable of it with such that plethora of talent that they're gonna find a way to like break through and break those lines and manage to get a shot on net. So yeah, they just have to remain composed and keep their cool headed, of course.
Yes, I agree. It's about keeping a cool head and making sure they can win. And if the Champions League experience comes through for Manchester United, we'll need it in that game against Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
So it'll be quite good. But yeah, the round of 16, first legs and second legs. So it's like, I think it's 15th or the 16th or the 22nd and 23rd of February. And then it concludes on the 8th and 9th and the 15th and the 16th of March. And then it's down to the quarterfinals, the semi-finals, whichever it is.
Yeah.
Which is all good. But before we leave, Julian, who's your top two picks for the Champions League? Who do you reckon will be in the final?
I think I have to say Manchester City and Bayern Munich. I think they've been the most brilliant sides, not only the domestic league but also the Champions League. They've been phenomenal.
I think it's going to be Liverpool and Bayern Munich. I think Liverpool and Bayern Munich could be a good. It'll be a great final, but obviously
for sure that'll be very entertaining.
Being objective, it's got to be Liverpool versus Bayern Munich. Being biased, it could be Man United versus Inter Milan in the final. That would be a dream right there as well.
Yeah,
that'd be so much fun. But no, everyone, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching our preview and our reaction, really, of the last.
Pretty much a reaction to all this. Yeah,
the preview will come in February when we're back on it as well. So, everyone listening, thanks for watching. Enjoy your new year. Take care and goodbye.